For the Finance Committee, we do have a quorum. And we have a set of minutes from October, but I know those minutes have already been approved by the county commission. So unless we want to approve them, I don't think you need to. This time we'll call for public comment. We may have a public comment.
I just like to make a note that the last meeting only took 1 minute. They're trying to rush like we in the minutes committee, and I think we need to take more time tonight.
I agree. Did you, George, when you get it? Seeing no public comment or no more public comment, we'll close public comment and we will turn it over to Director Maynard.
All right, I think the first item on the agenda for me is the inventory. Is that correct, Blake?
Present procedures for tracking computer hardware.
Okay.
Blue Tally.
All right. So the page that you have in front of you is a page that I'm requesting that we add to the policy book. We have already started down this path. If you don't like this, you're the committee that sets the policy, so we can adopt it however, we can modify it however you want. But in short, it is the intent of the county to account for and track certain items that cost more than $300 individually and have a useful life of more than 1 year. Items in question are those that are easily stolen and sold through public auction sites or by other means. While not an exhaustive list, following items will be tracked using the asset inventory software. We use asset inventory software instead of Blue Tally because, as far as we know, we're going to be using Blue Tally for quite a while, but we could change software systems and we don't want to have to come back and change the policy just because we change software systems. So, following items will be tracked using the asset inventory software: laptop computers, desktop computers, printers, computer monitors, tablets, phones, and other similar electronic devices. Each department will be responsible for purchasing its own computers and related hardware. The IT department may consult with the department and make recommendations regarding the type of equipment most suitable to do the work specified by the department. The IT department can help the individual department complete the purchase order for the computer or related equipment. However, the IT department will not issue a purchase order out of the IT budget and purchase a computer for another department without the express authorization of the budget committee. That is there because that is an excuse that Mr. Hammonds was using for buying some of the computers in question that are now missing. When the computer is received, a scannable tag will be attached to the computer or related equipment, and the equipment will be installed in the appropriate department and added to the inventory tracking system by the IT department. The department head of the ordering department will sign an installation of hardware form. That is this form. I need to change that title to match this. Wilson County, well, it does say installation of hardware form. So it'll be the date, the department name, the asset ID, department description. It is going to be signed by the person in the department saying this was installed. We'll verify the make, model, serial number, and any other key identifying aspect of the equipment. The equipment will be assigned to the employees within the department who is to be the primary user of the equipment. Disposals of computers and related assets will be handled in a similar manner. Generally, this will happen at the same time new computer equipment is being installed. A Wilson County Department asset surplus/destroy form verifying the make, model, serial number, any other key identifying aspect of the equipment will be signed by the department head of the department requesting the disposal. Once signed, the asset surplus/destroy form should be submitted to finance. That is the next page that you have. That's what that form looks like. So we will have record when something is disposed of. Once a year, during the process of preparing budgets, each department will conduct an audit of their computer and related equipment assets, either in the asset inventory software or a manual inventory submitted to the finance department along with their status quo budget. it will look like this. This is from Blue Tally. This is for the finance department. It tells every detail, the product, the serial number, the manufacturer, who it's assigned to. And they will be required to submit one of these, having checked off that everything that's on here they have. Fixed asset manager, with the assistance of other finance department employees, will conduct an inventory verification of all assets in each department. These counts can be done sporadically throughout the year as time permits. So Blue Tally is scannable. This stuff has all been tagged, so we're able to go in and scan and do an inventory count that way without having to actually. If you've got stuff that's in the hard spot to get to or whatever else, without actually having to unplug it, pull it out, trying to figure out where the serial number, it's all scanned. If an employee notices that an asset that is assigned to them is missing, they should, 1, immediately notify their supervisor that the item is missing. 2, file a police report with law enforcement in the jurisdiction where the asset was believed to be stolen. 3, notify the finance department that an asset is missing and that the supervisor has been notified and a police report has been filed. The employee or department head should also provide a copy of the police report to finance. Finance will take the necessary steps to flag the item as missing in the inventory tracking software. Law enforcement will determine the proper steps to locate the stolen assets and if any further investigation is warranted. If any items listed in the asset inventory software are not reported as stolen appropriately as indicated in steps 1 through 3 above, and the asset is determined to be missing when an inventory is conducted, disposal records will be searched to ensure that the item is in fact missing and that it isn't just a clerical error. If the item is in fact determined to be missing, an investigation will be conducted by either the finance department, the comptroller's office, or local law enforcement as appropriate. Disciplinary action may be taken against any individual based on the result of any investigation up to and potentially including termination. That is, again, most of this has already been implemented, but it has never been adopted by use policy. And if you guys want to think about that and come back, you can. We're proceeding in this means unless you guys tell us you'd like to tweak this in some manner.
Who's the fixed asset manager?
That is Teresa Scruggs. I couldn't.
McDonald.
Saying I couldn't come up with the last name.
And so she goes and
She and,
Scans.
she and some other members of the staff will be involved in that process. Yeah, and probably along with a representative from the IT department. It would probably be us and them.
so each employee that has a tagged asset,
Yes.
they know we're coming, we expect to see this,
Mm-hmm.
and because I guess what I was looking at was this here, because I get a similar document
Yes, sir.
as a teacher, and I have to go through it and make sure that these items are still in my classroom. I know where they're at,
Yes, sir.
and so on. And then I know that somebody from central office is going to show up and
Yes.
look for the tags and scan them and
Yeah.
verify they're in my classroom.
Absolutely.
So that's the process.
Yes, sir.
One question,
Yes, sir.
is this for the county only, not the schools, not the road department, but the county,
So,
including the sheriff's department,
so the sheriff's department and WEMA have their own inventory tracking systems. The sheriff's department uses Asset Panda. LeBron, you probably remembers the name of what WEMA uses?
so this is only for the
Operative
county.
IQ, yeah, Operative IQ. So basically, let me say it this way: if you have your own IT department, like the sheriff's department and WEMA does, they are the ones tracking
Okay,
those.
they do their own.
Yes,
So this policy doesn't apply to
does not apply.
the road department.
And I should have specified that in the policy. That probably needs to be added.
Yeah, it should be added, who this applies to.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Because it's very important,
Yeah,
because I could see in the future, somebody said, what, road department's not doing this, or, no, see.
We keep up, we do keep up. I've got a guy, that's all he does.
Yeah, I understand you do, and I know Jeff and his people will keep up too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that'll be Lima, Sheriff, Roads, and elections.
Elections. No. Elections.
Elections. The election department has its own IT.
Yep.
They're limited to what they can do.
Another question,
Yes, sir.
is there any way that we, like your office, can audit the other departments that are doing this?
In other words, you're talking about like the sheriff's department and Weenville?
Yeah,
or-
and things like that, just to audit them now and then.
I mean, we can definitely audit our department. When I say our department, I don't mean finance. We can audit the departments that fall under the county mayor and the other ones that don't
Right.
have an IT department to report to.
Right.
We could participate with, if WEMA was willing, we could, I'm sure they got a pretty tight ship over there with their inventory system. We could accompany them when they are doing counts and whatever, if that was desirable for everybody. Sheriff's Department would have to allow us to. He's an elected official. He can tell us to go take a hike. But,
Yeah.
But Weemus not, right? Weemus.
right, but I would still think that
Well, all
You know.
I'm saying is when you're your own boss, just like Mr. Hammond was,
Yes.
signing this, you can do anything you want. You say, hey, my system's up to speed.
yeah,
Nobody come in, okay?
I get you.
And not
Yeah.
that they're doing anything wrong.
I get you. Yes, sir.
Because every once in a while, somebody needs a fresh look.
Right.
And maybe they could do it themselves, have an independent auditor to come in and do your own, and just to make sure what you're doing is up to speed and, you know, and the way you think it is.
I will have
We thought ours was
conversations.
good too, until they stole money, you know? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I will have conversations with the sheriff and with the Lehman director, and I can report back on that. The only thing that I want to say on that is back to what we were talking about earlier. What we're talking about right now is, you know, let's say 400 employees. So, I mean, WEMA and the Sheriff's Department and the Road Department are three of the largest departments
Oh, I
in
know.
county government. So you're
You're talking about
exponentially,
significantly more.
you're exponentially increasing the work, which
I don't mean for you to handle it every day, they handle it themselves.
I understand.
I'm just saying, say, once a year, once every 2 years even.
Yeah,
Hire someone.
Yeah.
Independent audit that they can hire their own or whatever.
yeah, I have absolutely no issue with it. I'll have a conversation with them. I'm just saying from a staffing perspective, that can
Right.
become an undertaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how about Wilson Promotions?
They really have nothing to do with us unless you're talking about assets that are on the Ag Center grounds. Well, those are all buildings and things that I'm aware of as far as promotions is concerned. Buildings and asphalt and, you know,
There's nothing else that we have purchased over the years for them.
we've purchased very little for promotions. It generally goes in reverse. Promotions purchases stuff for us.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Yes.
Years ago, I think it's been about 5, maybe 6, each commissioner was provided a home computer.
Mhm.
Okay? Personally, I've never used mine. Because
Yes.
everything that comes from either my iPad or my home computer.
Yes.
Who wants it? I don't need it. Okay, it's been sitting on the desk unopened for at least 19 months.
Yeah.
I mean, not even open.
Yeah.
You can bring it up here to me and we'll get it turned in. Cause I'm sure we've got that signed up.
I'm not the only one, because I've heard several people,
Yeah.
I've never used it.
Same thing, I've never used
Same.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, Tom.
Are we obligated, since we got it, is it on the asset inventory for who has them?
Yeah, but, I mean, if you actually have them, I think there's a number of them that nobody ever took possession of.
Right.
Yeah.
There, maybe 9 that nobody ever picked up.
Yeah, some never picked them up.
I didn't.
So do you want to,
Can we put a ribbon on the cigarette?
we on camera.
Spray in for my replacement. How's that?
But if it's okay with you, that you guys can just bring them up here or
Yeah.
Monday night? Is it Monday night?
Mhm.
This commission? If y'all can bring them up here and leave them with Aaron, I'll make sure that we get you guys fixed up and
Yeah.
get that turned in.
I'm fine with it. I know what it.
I got another question on this form here.
Yes,
Who, when somebody receives a piece of hardware,
mhm.
they fill this form out?
Yes,
and say, I've received this. Who's keeping up with it?
And I saw that as well, and I meant to mention it. The department, that needs to come back to us as well.
Okay. Does somebody, so I guess what I'm getting to is when they receive the equipment.
Yep.
Is somebody from IT delivering it and installing it for them?
Yes.
Should that person who's doing the install also sign the form, hey, I did this?
We can,
Can we add that?
yeah, we can add that. Yeah.
You know, IT representative that installed or delivered the equipment. They signed it.
But sometimes they buy them themselves and they don't install.
So when the stickers are put on, you receive a link that says you need to scan that and you need to accept that piece of equipment as yours, and it has an identifier of what it actually is. So is that form in addition to that process?
That is the thing.
Yeah, we were looking for some way and, we were looking for some way that we wouldn't have a department head come back and say, I don't know what you're talking about. They never installed that piece of equipment in mine.
So it's kind of like a check and recheck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just asking because
Yeah.
I know I scanned everything. I just wanted to make sure that I
Yeah,
didn't miss something.
what we were trying to cover was a situation where, again, they come in, they install a piece of hardware for somebody and, you know, we go out trying to inventory it, that is gone, and then the department head's going, I don't know what you're talking about, they never put it in here in the first place.
That's fair.
Lauren, were you saying that there's some people that, I don't know who was saying it.
Oh, about
When they order it themselves? and-
No, what I'm saying,
IT
some
never
offices
touches? Oh,
order their own equipment and they, sometimes we have a resolution that says, we need a new computer and we'll approve it. So how they get it, I don't know, they go buy it, they contract it, come in, or do they go to the IT department to get it? Sometimes it appears to me they just go buy it.
So our purchase order or requisition process, we've been having our purchasing person, any type of IT technology related equipment, we've been acknowledging both with the department head or the ordering party and IT saying, did you agree that they were going to order this? Is this what they need to? Because whoever's placing the order doesn't realize that IT really needs to be involved because they're the ones that's going to actually install it and make sure it works
I
with the
agree.
system.
And
So-
sometimes they think they need something, and when you research what they really need is something else.
Correct.
And
So
the IT department is supposed to be the experts on Not always, but supposed to.
Right.
And sometimes they'll know when the state has it listed as something they can buy at a lower price.
It's my understanding, Mr. Butchell can probably confirm this, that if we buy something in the school system that's IT, our IT department handles it from start to finish as far as they receive the request, they go and get the quote and purchase it, and it goes through their office to the end user. And so it's always through that. I don't know if that's, if we have it that way here or not.
So I think most departments consult with IT when they go to buy computer equipment. You may have some here or there that don't. LeBronya may know more. They certainly would know more about who sort of does their own thing. But I mean, I know they work in the Register of Deeds office. They work in our office. Everywhere that I know, they work. But again, there may be some folks that when it comes time to buy a computer, for whatever reason, they don't consult with it.
So the IT department doesn't have access to everybody's lines.
Yeah.
So when the department itself puts the purchase order in, at that point, they're particularly have already asked or discussed that with them. If
Okay.
not, we're catching it as it's kind of coming in.
But they're
Saying
at
we're
least
doing-
having a conversation.
Yes.
I think I'm okay with that. Okay. Does anybody want to take any action on this process that we've got laid out here? I want to make a motion. Or do we want to chew on it and come back at another time?
Has there been any changes made with what been presented?
So the changes that have been made right now are, I will reach out to the 4 departments that are not part of this to check on auditing at some interval. There's 4 departments that are not part of this right now, and I'm not counting schools because y'all are technically a legally separate entity. WEMA, sheriff, roads, and elections right now are not part of what we do. That would be added to this policy along with, if we're able to come to some agreement about how we might participate in the inventory counting of the other departments. The other thing was they request that we add the IT installer to the installation of hardware for them, so that a representative of the IT department who installed the equipment would also sign in addition to the department head that this particular piece of equipment has been installed in their office.
I don't know if what I'm about to say is what you want to hear or not. But I think under the 1981 Financial Management Act, you are ultimately responsible for all of these, under anybody that's covered by the act. And you can have, Steve can have his guy, sheriff can have their guy or girl, whoever it is. But ultimately, it comes back here because all the money and everything has, with the exception of the school system, comes to the financial management.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm, like I say, I'm
So
good.
that puts more work. My thought is, never managed looks like this, but my thought would be the people that Steve has and Sheriff has, use them as your agents, but oversee them.
Yes.
Ever so often.
Yeah. And I'm good with that, you know.
They report to you.
I know you and I talked about that.
We have.
A dotted line responsibility.
Yeah, we have, Steve and I talked particularly on big assets that we haven't looked at in a while. You know, it's been a while since we looked at, you know, the pavers and all the other equipment that we need to, you know, check our list against as well, so. But yes, I will reach out to those other departments and assuming that, and I'm assuming that what Mike says is accurate. You know,
I wish I brought my book. I'm gonna go back and double check it, but
well, historically, y'all know I'm saying this tongue in cheek, right? Historically, when you call up the sheriff and tell him what you're about to do in his department, that's when you wind up found in the dumpsters.
That could be, but.
That's in
you know,
Chicago.
the Office of the Finance Director is one of the most powerful positions in county government, if you like that. And we have, so you got a powerful position. I don't want you and the sheriff getting into an argument, but, you know, the financial manager got some good trouble.
Yeah.
That's the reason we're.
Yeah, we will work with them, to, like I say, at least be a part of their accounts. Since IT does not, I mean, again, we're all running now, and I'm not suggesting that this change, I'm just pointing this out. We're running 3 different, maybe 4, depending on what roads is running. But we're running at least 3 different inventory tracking systems.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't mean to imply there's anything wrong with it.
No,
But just to make, maybe expound on my point a little bit, if this county was in terrible financial shape, which we're not, but if we were looking now wondering if we're gonna make it till June 30th, you have the right to impound funds.
that
And
I'm
it doesn't matter whether it's sheriff, Wayman County attorney, whoever, you have the authority to impound funds.
Yes, sir.
That's a great big power.
Yes,
I
sir.
know it's not good English.
Yeah.
English teacher.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept this policy as presented. Is that with the changes we've discussed tonight?
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion about that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is unanimous.
Second item on the list, Blake, I think it's payroll.
Let's see. Applying for job description changes and effective date of pay raises. Right.
Fun times.
All right, this is formalizing some stuff that, has been in place for a while, but people seem to be confused by it, so we wanted to sort of spell it out, but it's also a change in that because we have a step plan now, and because the roster is so important, in order to keep budget working and everything else, that we can't necessarily process a raise the day that you give us a half form. A half form is what somebody submits, I'm sorry, I should spell that out. A half form is what somebody submits to change somebody's rate pay. If we process it that quickly, I don't know that the roster ever gets updated. So I need the roster updated first, which means I need some time to get the roster updated and get Skyward updated, and then we'll make the raise effective. But just to read here real quick, this is sort of the stuff that everybody should already be aware of, but this formalizes it. New employees are generally paid at step 1 on the pay table for the appropriate job grade. In some instances, a newly hired employee may have credentials and/or experience that would justify hiring the new employee at a rate above step 1. Any consideration of job experience should be relevant to the position being filled. For example, if the position being filled is a custodian, a candidate with experience in food service would not necessarily have experience relevant to the position being filled. Therefore, they would not generally qualify to be hired into that position above step 1. Other extenuating circumstances, such as an inability to fill the position for the pay at step 1 on the pay table, could also warrant hiring an employee above the step 1 pay rate. The starting pay rate can be up to, but not higher than, step 8 of the appropriate job grade. This has been the practice for a few years now. We've had some inconsistency with it because I don't think everybody gets it. So we're just basically formalizing in our policy book what everybody's supposed to be following anyway. Promotions, again, this is no different than what it has been. Promoting an individual will generally result in the promoted employee moving up a job grade or grades. At the time of the promotion, the employee pay would be increased by 5% for each job grade the new position is above the job grade of the old position. Then the employee would be placed in the closest step at or above the required percentage increase. For example, an employee who is currently in job grade 6 and whose new position is in job grade 8 would receive 10%, 2 job grades at 5% per job grade, and then be placed in the step equal to above, but never less than the 10% increase. Again, people have been confused by that, but that's how promotions work. The next part is a change. The county has grown beyond the ability to process raises given for promotions instantly. Accordingly, it has become necessary to adopt a procedure to specify the flow of documents that will allow time for processing and updating the employee roster, which is essential to accurate budgeting and financial reporting. All HAF forms will be routed to Human Resources first. This is to allow the employee roster to be accurately updated. Human Resources will verify the appropriate computation of the rate of pay for the new employee, as well as the employee promotions. If any issues are noted with the HAF form, it will be returned to the department to have the issues corrected. Once the employee roster has been updated, the HAF form will be forwarded to employee benefits, where the new rate of pay, account distribution, and job title will be input into Skyward by the benefits clerk. After input into Skyward, the HAF form is scanned into EMS. The HAF form will then be forwarded to payroll, where the rate of pay, account distribution, and job title input into Skyward will be double-checked by the payroll specialist as the payroll is being processed. Finally, the HAF form will be routed back to employee benefits, where the information entered into Skyward will be checked for a third and final time by the financial analyst and employee benefits. The employee benefits package is updated, which is PC, work comp, etc. The HAF form must be received by Human Resources to begin the process no later than the beginning of the pay period for which the raise is to be effective, the week prior for departments who are paid weekly. As an example, an employee will be paid on March 20 for the pay period beginning on March 2nd and ending on March 13th. In order for the employee to receive the raise or the check on March 20, the HAF form must be turned into Human Resources by March 2nd. This provides time to verify the accuracy of the information submitted on the HAF form, update the employee roster, and update Skyward.
Is this eliminating a need for, not a need, or is this trying to do away with back pay if somebody gets a promotion?
No, if back pay was necessary for some reason, usually when you promote somebody, it's not a knee-jerk reaction. You usually know a few weeks in advance that you're going to promote them. What we're asking for is, rather than when you submit payroll, you suddenly send a HAF form up and expect us to process it that day. My fear is, again, or not my fear, my experience tells me when that happens, that change never gets made on my roster. And so my solution to that is I've got to fix my roster first. If I don't fix my roster first, then it never gets updated. I also need somebody, because we've had problems with people hiring somebody in at the wrong rate, or computing the raise that somebody gets on the promotion incorrectly. You know, we've got to be able to look at that and send it back to the department and say, you've got to fix it. We can't, we could fix it for you, but that's not really we'll work with you to fix it, but the bottom line is you need to fix it and send it back.
There's a lot in here, I got a question about.
Sure.
Let's go to that first part. I don't, this might be a legal question for Mike. But when you advertise these jobs and steps, whatever the pay rate is, I don't see how in the world you're getting by with, in any circumstances, paying above that. Now, on experience, I understand. What we do is say you got 30 or 60 days to provide your experience to us. After that, we're going with what you turn in. But that sentence, other extenuating circumstances, such as being able to fill the position to pay at step 1 on the pay table, to me, that sounds like you're opening up the door for some departments. You could be negotiating and starting out somebody else at a higher rate than the same person doing the same job. Labor law is pretty plain.
Yeah.
same job, same pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so that's a concern.
yes.
I can't, starting pay can be up to, but not higher than step 8 of appropriate.
Mm.
I mean, how much experience are you taking? Are you taking 5 years? You can bring 5, you can bring 10, but wherever it sets you on your hire date,
Yeah.
that's your pay.
Yeah.
And I would be very concerned if you got departments saying, I can't hire anybody, so I've got to bring in somebody at 2 or 3 other step grades above to fill that position. That's a concern. Maybe that's just the world I live in. The other thing, I really don't understand the promotion. To me, it's pretty simple. On your promotions, you set a hire date or a duty date.
Yes.
At that point, that's when your pay starts, because that's when you're assuming your duty starts.
Yes.
And that start date should be out in front to save HR, because I've worked in HR, and it's a killer when they start trying to send this in now, I want to send this in. The
Yeah.
start date should be established when you promote somebody.
Yeah.
When you're starting, and that should be out far enough to give HR enough time to include the
And
experience.
on your last part, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And maybe we didn't say it as well as we need to. That's what we're trying to do. As to the other, first off, we don't even have the tenure part of the pay plan in place. So it's in other words, somebody who's been a patrol officer with us for 12 years may only be being paid on step 6, just for example. So,
Because it's, excuse me, is that because it's a sliding, like y'all are on that pay plan, 1 to 4 years experience pay?
when we slotted people originally, we slotted them in what I'll call buckets. We, like you said, 1 to 4 years, you're here, and then when we picked up and went from there. And we've never basically gotten to the point where we have gone back and basically adjusted for, well, this person's been a patrol officer for 12 years, therefore they should be on step 12. We've had a few instances, like specifically, I believe, with corrections officers, where we have hired people above pay grade 1 because we couldn't get anybody to come work for, for pay grade 1. That's happened.
So you negotiated different starting pay?
Well, when you run it, you never run it out there as we pay this. We run it as we pay between this and this. Pay up
It's just
to.
different.
Yeah. Yeah, we say pay up to. We don't say basically, we're gonna pay you, whatever a corrections officer makes on step 1. We don't say that's what we're gonna pay you. We give ourselves a little bit of flexibility in that, but generally it's gonna be step 1. That's the point of all this.
Unless they
Generally,
bring
it should
in
be step 1.
experience.
Unless they bring in experience.
But-
Right, if you've been a corrections officer 5 years somewhere else, and you're coming here to be a corrections officer, it's a different scenario. But again, they still have to be mindful because the person who's been here for 10 years might only be on step 5. So you're gonna bring somebody in who's with 5 years of experience and slot them in step 5 also. Maybe that's up to the sheriff, but
We just can't do that, can we?
Generally speaking here,
Mhm.
if a half form is submitted on January 1st, when would it be authorized and finalized? 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, a month?
we're saying what we're really asking for, this goes a little bit farther than that, but what we are really asking for is 2 weeks, and we're hoping that we get it processed a lot faster
See,
than that.
that's what I was getting to, because this is generalization, just like whenever somebody that wants to defer something, they say 30 days. Well, 30 days is never the
Yeah,
next commission meeting.
Yeah.
So technically, we can't address that.
right. Somehow I gotta get people out of the habit of so what this is really intended to do is to get people out of the habit of going, I've known for a month I was gonna promote this guy. Okay? But the day that his promotion became effective, I sent the half sheet up to finance for them to process a raise. That's what's happening. And my problem is when we get ready to do the budget and we're sitting down looking at the roster and we're going back and cross-checking We're going, wait a minute, the roster doesn't match what this person's actually being paid.
Well, I would have a statement in here that once they have form is submitted to a human resource, you've got 2 weeks to have it completed, or a week, whatever it is.
Yeah. And again, the reason we ask for time is because if that thing comes up to HR and HR looks at it and says the account distribution's not right, the rate of pay is not right, and we send it back, we'd still like to have enough time to make that thing, to get everything back and done in time for that to be on the check that it was intended to
You
go.
don't have a concrete specified time frame.
Yeah.
Which this does not have.
Well, here's the problem with having a concrete specified time frame. I got people who are paid weekly. I got people who are paid bi-weekly. I got people who are paid semi-monthly. I don't have a single pay scale to go by to tell people you must have it turned in by then to give me enough time. And I don't think splitting a pay period is a good idea. So that's why what we attempted to say was you make the promotion effective at the beginning of a pay period. You make the promotion effective at the beginning of the pay period and you give me the half form that day. And that gives me enough time to get all the kinks worked out and get the Skyward, the roster, everything updated to get payroll processed with that guy at his new promoted rate. But it's got to be at the beginning of the pay period for which the raise is supposed to be effective.
In fact, the process, 10 days or 2 weeks. If it's gonna be effective, January 15th, it needs to be started on January the 2nd. Or whatever,
Yeah.
it's 14 days, 15 days, whatever.
Yeah.
Time frame you come up with.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if you can have the half sheet by the beginning of the pay period, at the day of the paycheck, the correct pay rate will be there,
Yes.
no matter what.
Yes.
I mean,
And we asked for a little bit longer. I think we said the week before if you're paid weekly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, again, if we had to send that half form back, you know,
So this is giving your department and HR time,
that's what, all we're asking for is time to be sure the roster's correct.
so that we don't have to go back
No
and
question.
say, hey,
Yes, sir. Or comment. Can't we just make it simple? Say if you have a pay raise or an increase in, say, a promotion, you need to notify 1 month ahead and tell us the effective date of that, whether it be a promotion or a step increase. It seems like it'd be a very simple thing, rather than make it, you gotta do it this for this, this for this. Just make it everything the same.
Yeah.
So 1 month prior to a promotion, effective day of your promotion or effective day of your pay increase, and it must start on a start of a pay period. I mean, it just
Yeah.
seems simple to me.
Yeah.
To-
I'm open to, again, we sat down and worked out trying to be, most people that I'm aware of, although again, the road department is a large department that's paid weekly, but most departments are paid twice a week, bi-weekly. So that was sort of the what we started from. What are most people? But you go ahead and speak because you're thinking.
So sorry. So a month is gonna be a little long.
Is it?
I don't foresee us even needing the 2 full weeks, getting our information in and together. But if I hold it out a month, I'm running the risk of, I've got another paycheck somewhere in between there.
Okay.
I might mess myself up and
How
pay
about
them
3
early.
weeks? How about
2 weeks.
I say 2
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2
I'd say
weeks
2
prior
weeks.
to the
What
effective
they
date
need, don't ask for more
of
than
your
what you
promotion
need.
or your increase, and it must start on a start of a pay period. How's that? 2
That's
weeks.
what this is saying.
I think he's saying the beginning of next year.
Yes. I mean, something like that. I'm just saying, if you can make it simple and everything's the same, that way people don't have to read that over and over to figure out how they fit in. That's all I'm saying.
I got you. And I think that pretty much kind of covers it. So if we start with your pay period, regardless of what department it is.
Right.
If they, first day, you give me that half form, I'll have you all taken care of.
Within 2 weeks to that start of the pay period.
Yes, sir.
And then the start of the pay period, they'll get paid after that pay period is over. So they don't get paid in 2 weeks, but the start of the pay period is 2 weeks from the time you get the half form.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I'm saying. If you make it simple, people will understand it, but if you write it, depending on who you are, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have very confused people.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's
And-
what I don't want.
Yeah, and we can,
No, really, it's gonna be very confusing because.
yeah,
That would eliminate Steve Murphy from going to bed at night and having a dream and saying, hey, I'm gonna give Tommy Jones a pay raise this Friday.
And he doesn't deserve one.
so we
Half sheet in the Monday.
We could cross out everything after this, I think, based on what we just said, and you tell me if this is not exactly what you're saying. The last paragraph, the half form must be received by Human Resources to begin the process no later than the beginning of the pay period for which the raise is to be effective, the week prior for departments who are paid weekly. You could cross everything else out, and I think you've said the same thing.
Your establishing start date is the first day of the pay period. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
And Mike and Kiana and I will get together to address your concerns on the new hire part. Jeff?
Another question, on that promotion, so I guess it's a policy that
Mhm.
if you get promoted within this county,
Mm-hmm.
regardless, the employee pay would be increased by 5% for each job grade.
Yes.
That's
So whatever-
confusing to me. Please help me understand that, because that sounds,
Right. Well, so here's the thing. If you are in step 7 on grade 6 and you get promoted to grade 8, if you go back to step 1, grade 8 step 1 is probably less than grade 7 step 6. So I'm not going to promote an employee to have them make less money than they were making, the way that the job table works out. So that's where that rule came into play. And I didn't develop that rule. That was part of the whole pay plan thing. Was basically it's 5% per grade. So if you move one grade, it's going to be a 5% increase, but it can't just be a 5% increase because that might not land in a step. And everybody has to be in a step. So it's 5%, and then the closest step to that is where we plugged you in.
Not down.
Up, but now it's never less, right? It's got to be 5%.
but you could get promoted and make more than somebody that's already on that step in pay grade.
Yeah, but most people, again, we're gonna have some issues with the half forms until we ever work out the tenure piece of this. Because, particularly at the sheriff's department, I'll use them for example, although I'm sure it's happening at departments across county government. Like I say, if they go hire somebody, if they promote somebody, a lot of times they've got to go, well, based on the rule, he would actually be making as much as a corporal. He's a new corporal, but based on the rule, he would be making as much as a corporal who's been a corporal for 5 years. So they will deviate from the general rule. And again, it can't be otherwise until we fix the tenure piece.
All these positions posted?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, to the best of my knowledge.
I went away from that pay plan for this, very simple, for this very reason.
Yeah. Yeah. To the best of my knowledge, I should say, all of them are posted. I don't see all the postings.
I'm just curious if it's just like we could use the sheriff's department again. Let's say you've got a deputy that's been with the department for 15 years.
Yes.
And then I would assume that they make more than a deputy that's been with the department for 5 years. I would assume, I would hope. And then they get promoted to, say, lieutenant.
Yep.
I don't know how many steps that is above deputy,
I don't know either. I'm not good with that stuff, but yes,
but
I understand what you're saying.
let's just say it's 3 steps.
Yeah.
That's a 15% promotion. So let's just say that deputy was making 60.
Right.
So now they get a $9,000 promotion.
Yep.
So now they're 69,000 a year. But a lieutenant that's been a lieutenant for 5 years is only making 65.
Yep.
Is that the issue that?
And again, the sheriff's department is, most departments are not having this issue. There are a few departments that are, and those that are, you know, they will send us up a half form, and I'll just call them and say, okay, I just want you to know that the computation here doesn't exactly make sense, and they'll come back and tell me why.
Okay.
And I'll go, okay. I mean, that's kind of how it works most of the time. It's not, that makes it sound like it's pervasive and it happens every day. It doesn't happen every day. But there are situations where people get promoted and you look at the rule and you go, okay, they should have gone here, but that's not what's on the half form. So I call them and go, what's going on? And they're like, well, that would put him over.
Somebody else that's got more experience.
Yes.
Okay. That's why we gotta fix the tenure piece of this.
Yes. We do. But again, I'm completely interested because this is what we have been living under since we adopted the step plan. And so I am, first I've heard of any potential issues, that have been raised. So I'm completely interested in trying to look into that, be sure we're not, creating any issues there. But that's, again, that was not us that developed that policy. That was developed primarily by the pay study folks. This is how this would work.
And that's very similar to the federal government pay plan. They
Yeah.
do grades and scales. But when you apply for a position, you know what you're gonna get paid,
Yeah,
bottom line. There's no, don't matter whether you're promoting or coming in from the outside.
Every-
You apply for a federal position, they're gonna have a grade.
Yeah.
I think military similar, you same
It
way.
is, yeah.
And when you move to that job, that's what you're getting paid.
every listing that I see that comes out lately, and I get them for, just because I'm a member of Tennessee Government Finance Officers Association, I get postings on finance positions and everything else, and they're all ranges between here and here,
Grade bands.
I've never seen a rule like that though. If you're coming from within, you get an extra 5%.
Yeah. Well, again, it can't be a straight, it can't necessarily be a straight move, because if you went from grade 6, step 6 to grade 7, step 6, that's an 11% bump. There's an 11% move between the grades. Okay. But if you go all the way back to step 1, it may be actually less than what you were making at where you came from. So that was intended to fix that problem.
So basically, this policy is just guaranteeing if you get promoted, you're not just getting to the title. You get something.
Correct. Now, again, I do have to leave some leeway in here and I may have to write something slightly different, but, I want to emphasize that the cases where the 5% rule is not followed, they have a very solid reason for doing what they're doing. I mean, their reason being, like I say, I've got this guy that's been a corporal for 8 years. All right, now I'm promoting this guy from patrol to corporal. And if I follow the rule, he's gonna be making the same thing that my guy who's been a corporal for 8 or 10 years is gonna make. So, like you said it right, we have to fix the team, please.
It's the will of the committee.
I make a motion that we accept it with the elimination of the last paragraph on the document.
After the part that says, essentially starting it as an example.
Yes, we're gonna cross all that out.
You wanna go back and go over all this before we decide for sure?
If y'all wanna have another meeting and give us, let us, kind of work on what Jeff's talking about and talk with, I think that's fine. You know,
I think that's really.
We can bring it back, you know.
yeah. Yeah, we'll bring it back if we can have another meeting in a couple of weeks or something.
Always draw one motion.
Make that a motion to defer this.
Motion to defer.
Second.
Okay. We need to set a time frame on this point.
What's next on the agenda? Blake, I'm sorry.
We'll vote on the defer real quick. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Procedures for approval of marketing expenses.
Okay, don't know if I handed this out or not. Don't think I did.
Did you get one?
All right, so this kind of comes from, I'm not a marketing person. Marketing people are great. They're special people. It's really difficult. It's really difficult for a person to determine the ordinary, necessary, and reasonable nature of a marketing expense. So I feel like I'm sort of in a unfortunate position of trying to determine whether, you know, this marketing thing makes sense or this marketing thing doesn't make sense. And quite frankly, I don't think I'm really qualified to make that call. So what I have done here is try to help resolve that by basically saying, to read the policy, I apologize for reading to you again. Marketing expenditures can be difficult for non-marketing professionals to evaluate as ordinary, necessary, and reasonable business expenses. As such, it is desirable for a group of people with a marketing background to assist in determining which expenses are appropriate for the promotion of the county, its departments, and organizations. The committee, which is you guys, is recommended. The committee for marketing. I'm sorry. I wrote this at the last minute. I'm proposing that we put together a committee of a group of people with marketing background. Committee is recommended to consist of the chairman of the tourism committee, the chairman of the Ag Center committee, 3 private sector professionals with experience in marketing. Private sector professionals would be nominated by the county mayor or approved by the county commission. Committee would review all advertising expenses in excess of $500, and I don't care what the threshold is, I just made one up, which would consist of marketing, promotion, sponsorships, etc. Therefore, that way, I'm not treating people inconsistently. Why did you approve this sponsorship for tourism, but you didn't approve this sponsorship for the Expo Center or this for the Ag Center? And I've talked to other finance directors, and we had recently a Middle Tennessee finance directors meeting in Nashville, and we all sort of agreed that, yeah, what I'm approving or not approving, I can't tell you why. Because I'm not a marketing person. If anybody here has a good way for recognizing return on investment on an advertising campaign, I'm all ears, so I can in some way evaluate whether or not we do something one year and next year we choose not to do it. Now, you've got a couple of other options. You can say, which is not wrong, I've got a department head at the Expo Center, I've got a department head at tourism, and if they say that we should do this from an advertising and promotion standpoint, then we should do it. And if that's what everybody's good with, believe me, I'm good with it. But I don't want to be, I don't want to be called on the carpet for why in the world did you approve that as a marketing or advertising kind of thing. So it's a very difficult thing for a non-marketing person to, again, sort of make the determination of what to approve and what not to approve.
So what departments are,
The three that I mentioned specifically, you're talking about ag, expo, and tourism
those are pretty much the only three in our.
that have advertising money.
Okay.
But it's in their budget.
It's in their budget.
So as far as I'm concerned, they make the call, if they stay within their budget, all you're approving is the money's there when the request comes in for them to spend that money.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what they get hired to do.
Yes.
And in marketing, the way it changes, you may do something this year, it's great, but next year, it don't work. There's something new, and I think it needs to stay department head. I don't really look at that as you're approving it, and I would
Right.
tell anybody that. All he's saying is,
Right.
it's in their budget, it's within their budget, the money's there.
And I'm 100% good with that.
That's what I think. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just,
I'm 100% good with that.
I mean, you did, I understand what you're, probably the need for this, but, so they're gonna review it, and then what are they gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm gonna act on the recommendation of the committee. That would be how that would work.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much government.
Yeah,
You hire these people, they get hired, they secure that position.
Yes.
Their budget gets approved. I think you let them do their job.
yeah, I'm 100% good with that. I've had a lot of questions lately from different places.
Yep.
And this was all saying, look, if we're gonna start questioning every marketing thing we do, then I gotta issue myself because I don't feel like I'm in a good position to be making these decisions.
Yeah, in our business, I would have never thought sending an email would get money for a fundraiser.
Yeah.
It's the biggest fundraiser we have. I mean, so,
Yeah,
and the people brought it to say, yeah, this is gonna work, it's gonna work. I'm thinking, what?
yeah,
So I just think you let them do their thing as long as they stay within their budget this month.
I'm good. Very good.
Take that as a motion, I mean, we'll second this.
Second.
What is the motion?
Just keep it as.
Keep it as, I don't think you need to make it.
No.
No?
We'll move on. You can't, you want to.
That's fine.
I'm good. Next, I think, is Chamber of Commerce. We're skipping those tonight. They couldn't be here.
Okay.
What else do we have on there?
New business, old business?
Perfect.
Anybody got any new business or old business? Just need one more motion. We're adjourned.